I've discovered a magic skill that top creators are using to play YouTube on easy mode and generate millions of views for their channel. In fact, when I used it on this video right here, it generated 610,000 views for one of my clients, which is 20 times their average video view count. Well, then I used it on this video here, which got 1.3 million views for another one of my clients in just a few months. So today I'm going to break down exactly what this magical skill is with a ton of live examples. Plus I'll share some simple actionable tips that you can use to get more people clicking and watching your videos. So for the past 2 years, I've been studying the absolute mother out of elite YouTubers till my eyes bleed. But I'm not just talking massive creators like Mr. Beast, but also small channels just like this one called Learn by Leo that went from 0 to 125,000 subscribers in just 5 videos. Or channels like Chris Takes Off that got 419,000 views on his first video he ever posted. I wanted to figure out, how the heck are these channels getting so many views? What do they understand about YouTube that us plebs are missing? You see, what I quickly figured out was, although a lot of these channels had great editing, great thumbnails, great scripting, this wasn't actually the reason they were blowing up. Otherwise, how would random white dudes making videos about 7-Eleven with the worst edits and thumbnails in history be getting results like this? Well, what I discovered was that these top channels were using something completely left field that was helping them blow up their channels. Well, it's that they're all on fucking cocaine. But in all seriousness, what I found is that these guys are masters of a very special skill, and that skill is psychology. They study the mind to learn how to grab your attention, keep your attention, and convert that into views or Lambo money. And if you want that sweet silver play button by the end of the year, then I believe this is one of the most important skills that you should be studying. But then the question is, well, how do you learn psychology? Well, you could spend the next 40 years flipping through dusty textbooks down your local library, or you could just spend the next few minutes listening to me break down the 3 most powerful techniques I found these top creators are using, starting with curiosity. So curiosity is the main psychological technique these top creators are using to get you to click and watch their videos. It's pretty straightforward. If their video does not spark immediate curiosity, you don't click and watch. For example, I want you to take a look at these 2 videos right here. Chances are you wouldn't click this video on the left because, well, no one knows who the fuck Big Mike is, so it generates 0 curiosity. But then we have this video on the right, which I 100% reckon that 90% of people watching this video would probably click because it generates a ton of curiosity. In just a few seconds, your brain is already thinking, I wonder what the hell the loneliest house on earth actually looks like. So then now that you know you need to generate curiosity to get people to watch your videos, then the question becomes, well, how do you do it? Well, one of the most popular techniques that are used by creators like Yes Theory, which is the people that created this video, is by using something called an open loop. An open loop is basically when you start a story but don't finish it, or when you tease a piece of valuable information but you don't reveal the answer straight away. Your brain hates this because it creates an itch inside your mind that you desperately need to scratch, so you can't help but click and watch the video. In this example, it's the tiny house on top of the mountain that creates the open loop. It generates a ton of curiosity because you're now thinking about things like, I wonder what the view is like from up there, or, you know, how did they even build the house? So the title and thumbnail open up a bunch of burning questions in your mind that generate a ton of curiosity. And like I said, the only way your brain can scratch this itch is by clicking and watching the video. But I just want to run through one more clear example so that you can take away this technique and apply it to your own videos. So let's say I'm making a video about how to get a 6-pack. So what you don't want to do is write a title like this: I cut back on calories and got a 6-pack in 30 days. And the reason is because I'm giving away everything in the title. I've told them, hey, I got a 6-pack by cutting back on calories. Everyone already knows that that's how you get a 6-pack, so there's no reason or curiosity to click the video. Instead, you want to say something like, I tried The Rock's 3-4-1 diet and got a 6-pack in 30 days, because people are instantly thinking, what the hell's the 3-4-1 diet? Let me click to find out what it is. So remember, you always want to be promising a valuable piece of information or teasing a story without revealing the answer. That's how you generate curiosity. Okay, so the next psychological technique I found that these channels are using is credibility. This is especially important for small channels looking to grow fast because in the beginning, no one knows who the fuck you are. So if your audience doesn't instantly respect you or your achievements, it's going to be difficult to get them to keep watching. But there's a little trick I found that small channels have been using to get around this problem and still generate millions of views when no one knew who they were. One of my favorite examples is from a guy called Paddy Galloway. So Paddy is a YouTube strategist that a few years ago launched this channel. From my understanding, when Paddy launched this channel, no one knew who he was, but in just a few videos, he was already generating millions of views. So how did he do it? I call it borrowing credibility. This is when you borrow the celebrity status of viral creators, organizations, or topics to grab attention and get more views. And it's absolutely genius. As you can see, Paddy simply borrowed the credibility of viral creators like MrBeast, Ryan Trahan, and Mike Rober. Because people are actually interested in these celebrities, they clicked and watched his videos. And now Paddy is one of the most viral and well-respected YouTube strategists on the platform. But does that mean if you're a small channel, you simply just have to create celebrity videos in your niche to get attention and go viral? The answer is yes, you're fucked. No, there's plenty other ways that you can borrow credibility to get attention and more views. So for example, in this video right here, they've used the credibility of Harvard to grab your attention and generate curiosity. Or then there's this video right here that uses the big name of CIA to add credibility to their brain enhancement techniques. Basically, if this video just didn't have CIA in the title, it probably wouldn't have worked. If they just said, secret techniques to enhance your brain, there's no credibility element and, people probably wouldn't have clicked. So the big lesson here is if you don't have credibility, simply just borrow it. Find viral creators in your niche, organizations or topics that you can add in your titles, thumbnails, and scripts. Okay, so the next technique is called pattern interruption. And it's one of the most effective techniques I found that these big and small channels are using to grab your attention and keep you watching their videos. So here's a great example of this technique being used that, as you can see, has produced absolutely crazy results. So as you can see, this video was posted about a year ago when everyone was raving about the carnivore diet. All the anti-government Joe Rogan podcast listeners were on the bandwagon. So the common opinion or pattern was that the carnivore diet was the bee's knees. So when this video dropped saying that, why the carnivore diet is actually bad for you, it got a ton of people's attention. Why? Because it challenged their current beliefs. The whole narrative around the carnivore diet was super positive. So to see a video about why it's bad interrupted this pattern. There are literally a million examples of this technique being used in a ton of YouTube videos, whether that be in the title, the thumbnail, or even deep in the script. So if you want to apply this technique to your own videos, whether that be in your title and thumbnails or in your actual videos to just kind of change it up and keep people watching, then you simply just want to find common beliefs that your audience are holding onto and challenge them. And this doesn't have to be only in your title and thumbnails like in this example that I've just shared. You can still use it during your script because it's a great way to kind of break things up and, like I said, keep people engaged. So for example, I actually use this technique in this video right here. So in the beginning, I was building up towards the whole technique of this video and you probably thought I was going to say something sensible, but then I randomly said it's because every creator is on cocaine, which breaks up the monotony of the script. It interrupts the pattern of where you thought I was going and it helps to keep attention. So as you can see, you aren't just confined to making controversial videos where you tell people they're wrong. You can get creative with it and find different ways to challenge people's beliefs to make your videos fun and exciting. And you might be thinking, okay, this is all well and good, but there must be more than 3 techniques that these top creators are using to, create viral videos. And you would be right. So like I said, you could bash your head against a textbook in a dusty library to try and learn psychology, or you could join the waitlist to my free YouTube script writing community that I will be releasing soon, where I'm going to be delivering all these psychological techniques plus a ton more on a platter for you so that you can easily learn them and apply them to your own videos. So if that sounds interesting to you, then I'll leave a link in the description and I'll hopefully see you over there.